We're going to use this as our video class today. So hello to everybody that's at home. Today we're talking about measures of center. So if you're not with us in class, please go get your composition books, then come back. You can pause this video whenever you need to. Measures of center are asking basically where does most of the data fall in a question. So if I were to say, what shoe size does everybody in this class wear? And say most of the answers were either 7 or 8, then we would call that the center of the data, because the center is where most of it is. So we're going to talk about the mean. The mean is the average. So to find an average, you have to add up all the scores, and then you divide by the number of scores that you have. So here's an example. I put them in order 2, 2, 5, 6, 3, 7. I added those together and got 25. And then I divided by the number of scores. I had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 scores. So 25 divided by 6, your calculator is going to say 4.16 repeating in the 6, 6, 6, 6, 6, 6. So you put the line above the 6. So basically it's a 4. When you find the median, all you're trying to do is find the middle. And the thing about median is you have to put the numbers in order from least to greatest. See how the 3 was out of place there? So we had to rewrite the list to put the 3 in the right spot. And if you count from each end till you get to the middle, I actually have 2 scores in the middle. So what number is halfway between 3 and 5? Anybody? Alexis? 4. So 4 would be the median. So the other way you could do it is you could add up 3 plus 5, and you get 8, and then you divide by the number of scores, which is 2, and 8 divided by 2 gives you 4. So if it's easy to see what's in the middle, just write it down. But if it's not for sure, like if it's 3.5 and 6.8 or something weird like that, add them together and then divide by the number of scores. And then the third one is not on this worksheet, but we've talked about it, so I want to add it back in because usually when you see mean, it's called mean, median, mode, and range. So the mode is whatever happens most frequently. If you look at all the scores lined up, this is the only one that happens more than once. So the most frequent score is 2. You can see how that's not really the center though, right? These are closer to the center, which is why they call them measures of center. And when you're finished writing that down, you can go ahead and close your composition book. That way I'll know you're finished. And if you're at home, just pause your video until you get that finished up. If anybody needs to use my composition book at the end of class, you could certainly do that. Don't lose these books over the summer. Hang on to these because you got lots of good information in there that you can refer back to. Okay, measures of center. Please make sure you have your highlighters out. Because again, we're talking vocabulary, so you're going to want to make sure that you're checking this out. A measure of center is a way of summarizing data. So write the word summarizing in there first. And then anytime we're not sure about the meaning of a word, we're going to find the root word. And the root word is going to be summary. And I know you do summaries in ELA, right? So what is a summary? Aiden.
Basically shortening something.
Okay, so if I have a whole list of data, we can shorten that by finding the center of the data. So basically it's to show the main idea. So in a question like this, the list below shows the shoe size for 8 students in a certain class, the main point would be what's the average shoe size, okay? So that's what they mean by summarizing the data. Instead of just giving you a list, you're going to put it in some kind of form to show the main idea. The mean is the measure of center, which is the average of the data. So the average. So for example, I say to you, I'm going to bring in 100 cookies tomorrow, and we're going to divide them up among everybody in this class. How would I do that? How would I find out how many cookies each person got?
You'd learn how many, or you'd count how many people were in the class.
Okay, so let me stop you there. So 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18 people in class. What else?
And then you'd divide 100 by
100 cookies divided in 18 equal parts, right? So get your calculator out and tell me how many cookies would that be? How many cookies would everybody get? 5. Yep, we'll switch it up. So 5 cookies, because you're not going to give out parts of cookies, right? So everybody gets 5. Will there be cookies left over? Because I can give you more than 5, but I'm not going to, right? So 18 times 5, that takes up 90 cookies. But you can see why I can't give everybody one more. There's not enough left, right? All right. Finding the total. So when you find the average, it can be found by finding the total of all the data points, which in this case was 100 cookies, and dividing by the number of students. So there's 2 steps. You add them all together, and then you divide by the number of scores. When you do that, it's going to be finding your fair share. Finding the fair share. So everybody gets 5. There's some left over. Yes, sir.
You know what? When I was in like 4th, 5th grade, I was in Kalamazoo. My dad was getting donuts for everyone at my house, and I did all of that dividing in my head, which made me feel special.
That's awesome.
But it wasn't enough, so then I did another more dividing, and I was like, if 2 people split half of a donut, we eat.
There you go. The answer would be 1.5. Good job. You can do that when you buy boxes of Chicken McNuggets too, right? 6 people in your family, boxes of McNuggets come in 20s.
I'm not sure.
All right, so let's move on. So we're going to practice one of these. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to figure out how many gumballs are in each of these machines. Go ahead and count. Count on your paper. It's too hard to see all the way up here. And then we're going to compare numbers, okay? Okay, Tyler, what'd you get? First one?
11,
Second one?
5,
And C? Okay, that's the number of gumballs. We're going to add the total up. So get your calculators going, or you can do it in your head. Doesn't matter to me. What's the total, Brock?
24,
The total is 24. Now we're going to divide by 3 machines. What is the average? Olivia? 8. So if we take 3 of these and move them over, 11 minus 3 makes that 8, and then you're going to plus those 3 over there, and that makes that 8. Everybody gets 8. Okay, here's a list below. The shoe size for 8 students in Miss Perdito's class. I'm going to highlight the number 8, or the word 8, because I need to divide by the total number of students, which is, they're telling me, is 8. So the first thing we're going to do is we're going to add up all the shoe sizes, and notice you got a 9.5 and a 10.5 in your list. Get your calculators out and give me a total We're going to put it on this line right here. Everybody's putting it in your calculator. Don't wait for your neighbor to tell you what to write. Tyler, you got a calculator? They're on the front table. Go grab one. Lene, you're adding that up? Oh, okay. Thank you. What'd you get? 88. I agree with that. Did you guys get 88? And we're going to divide by 8. What's the average shoe size then? Anna? 88 divided by 8. Yep. Okay, you guys practice this one. The following data set represents the age of people in line to vote. Add up all of the ages and put it in the box where it says sum for the total. And then you're going to have to divide by the number of people in line. Keegan, you got it? Okay. How many people got 490 for your total? If you didn't, it's okay. Here's what I would suggest. When you get that many numbers in a row, I would do it twice to make sure you get the same answer both times. It's easy when it's only 3 or 4 numbers, but when you get up to 10 numbers, it's easy to forget one or to put one in twice. So it's 490 total divided by 10. Now the one at the bottom is done a little bit differently, so I want to talk to you about what they're doing here. They threw a frequency table in here. And that's going to change the way we look at the data. So let me ask, the following data set represents the number of times the phone rings when callers contact Comcast Cable Customer Service. The number of rings of 4 rings happened 2 times. So watch this. Make your list. 5 rings only happened for 1 person. 6 rings happened 2 times. There were no 7s. So that's the data we have to use. You can't just use 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. You can't just use 2, 1, 2, 0, 2, 1. You got to make sure you understand it means how many times, how frequently did that happen. So now we're going to get the total, and we're going to divide by the number of scores. Go ahead and get your calculators fired up. And we're going to find the average Caitlin Bates, what did you get for the total when you added them all up? Anna, what did you get? Okay, we got 2 different answers. Let's keep asking. What did you get, Lene? 50. Liam?
50.
Aiden? 50. I got 50. Okay, and we're going to divide by the number of scores. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 50 divided by 8. That means on average, when people called Comcast, It was a little bit more than 6 rings before they got answered. And I used to work in a call center where I took phone calls all day long, and that kind of stuff matters. We were told that they should never have to wait more than 3 rings. So, yeah. We got like raises or bonuses if we could beat that. All right, on the second page, we're going to talk about the median, which is the middle number. So median means you need to find the number in the middle. Before you can find the middle number, though, you have to make sure the data is in order from least to greatest. Because if it's all mixed together, it's not going to end up being the middle number. You need to find the middle of the data. And if there's not just one number in the middle, what if there's 2 numbers left in the middle? We're going to find an example of that here later. Then if there's 2 numbers, you have to take the average of those 2 numbers. So we'll show you what we mean here. Okay, you can see this data set. Is it in order from least to greatest? No, so that's the first thing we have to do. So I'm going to find the smallest number, 0, and I'm going to count how many zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 zeros. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and then I'm going to cross all those out. The next number is 1, and it looks like there's 2 of those. Then look at this, there's a 1.5. Two 2s. It's a lot of numbers. Yes?
I missed the 3.
Is there a 3? Oh, I did. See? When you don't cross them out. So I gotta fit a 3 in here. That's gonna mess me up. So I'm gonna go over here. I'm glad you were watching, Shane. Blake. All right. Because that's going to mess me up, trying to make sure I'm counting the right way. So then you put a finger on each end. Ready? And you just keep going in until you get to the middle. I have 2 numbers left in the middle. So to find what's halfway between those 2, there's 2 ways to do it. If you can look at those 2 numbers and tell me what's halfway, that's awesome. If you cannot, you're going to take 1 and 1.5, add them together. What will we get? 2.5. And then divide by the number of scores. 2.5 divided by 2 in your calculator. If there's 2 numbers in the middle, add them up, divide by 2. Liam? Yep. So that's an idea of when you have 2 numbers left in the middle, add them together, divide by 2. Or find what's in half. Like between 2 and 4, it'd be easy to go, oh, well, right in the middle is 3. But it's not always easy like that. Here's a data set. How many broken cookies were in a test of 9 boxes? So we have 9 boxes. So I know I've got 9 scores to check. I got to put them in order from least to greatest because they're not. You think Girl Scout cookie companies are going to make sure their cookies aren't broken when you buy them, right? So they check quality control. How many cookies were broken in a box? If a bunch of cookies end up being broken, they got to do something about that. So here's my list this time. Start on each end. This time the answer is simple. There's only one number left in the middle. Okay, now the median for a dot plot is a little bit different. You ready? So I'm going to actually cross off the dots from each end. So one here and one here. The next lowest and the next highest. Then look what happens. I have two numbers left, not one. So I have 22 and 24. Can you tell me what's halfway between, or do we need to add it up and divide by 2? Liam?
23.
Okay. Roanoke Middle School is holding a walkathon. The top 5 finishers, so I've got 5 scores apparently, are shown in the table below. What is the mean and what is the median? So we're going to have to do both. So to find the mean, we're going to add all the scores and divide by what?
The number.
Top 5 finishers. So there's going to be 5 scores, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Sign me up. Give me a total on those 5 numbers. Give me a total on those 5 scores. Olivia? What was it? 153. What'd you get, Aiden?
I got 160.
163. Anybody else?
I got 130.
I got 163.
Anybody else get 163? Okay, let's go with 163 and divide by the number of scores, which is 5. Give me a thumbs up if you got an answer for us. Camden Taylor. Now, here are my scores. Are they in order? 35, 33, 33, 32, 30. Yes. So to find the middle number, start at the outside. Is 32.6 almost 33? They're very close, right? Okay, tear that paper off, put your name on the back. This measure of center, we're not doing all the problems today. So circle 1 and 4, 5, 6, and 8, and get your highlighter out. For number 1, what's the mean? For number 4, what's the mean? For number 5, what's the median? Number 6, what's the median? Remember the frequency table. Remember how we made the list of scores, right? There will be 3 20s, 2 22s. Number 8, find the median. When you finish those 5 problems, please turn this paper in. Tomorrow we're going to go over quiz corrections and IXL assignments. I'm just going to wait for you to work on this and turn it in before the end of class. calculators are going to stay on your tables. So you're going to use them next hour.